Fighter and the Kid was owed somewhere around $476,000. Then I find out that Thick Boy Productions overall is owed around $1.6 million. I don't know. I just wish I could start a comedy club somewhere, but then I don't.
That's not for you.
It's not for me.
I don't know why you do this to yourself.
I know.
That's like hanging out.
I just do stand-up.
That's like hanging out with Elon Musk. I'm like, God, I want to get to Mars.
I know, you're right.
You in a comedy club?
I'm not good at details, huh?
We got money stolen from us, and you had no clue till I told you. You want to run a comedy store?
You're right. By the way, let's take a minute to explain.
You want to address that?
I think we should explain what the
Get up for that segue. Come on, dude. I've been doing this a long time.
That was good.
You just caught it.
Seamless segue,
dude.
Seamless segue.
Professional black belt.
I'm gonna tell everybody what.
Well, before you do so we spoke with CoffeeZilla, Steven, who I'm a big fan of, and obviously Theo Von announced on his YouTube channel what exactly some of the issues we've been having as far as the podcast game goes.
Yeah.
With what he's having, but he also alluded when he kept saying it's me and Theo, right? Because when we had King the Sting, so Theo said his piece. And then, then CoffeeZilla reached out, and because I'm behind the scenes. If you guys been watching the show long enough, I don't like the drama stuff. I don't like I also don't think you guys are very interested in behind the scenes, the numbers. And so I was like,
well, I don't think.
And then once Theo was like, I'm going to do something here. And I was like, do your thing, player. And then he went off and did his thing. That's like, doors open.
I think what's important is to stick to just the facts. And
with what happened to us,
I don't think it was very relevant to our listenership since the comedy podcast to get into what the amount of money we are missing.
I don't think they care.
That was taken from us. So we had been doing our advertising agent was Cast Media.
We've had several before that,
but in the past 4 years or so,
3 to 4 years, probably 4.
More than that, 4 years, a little over 4. Colin Thompson, who owns Cast, was making us money.
Not only so remember, so Brian's gonna explain his side of the story, which it relates to me and him. Then remember, I have the Shab Show at the time, King the Sting, which is now the Golden Hour, Calabas Fight Campaign, food truck. So it's a big array. So as the story goes on, and you guys are familiar with, I'm sure other podcasts said they didn't receive money, and obviously Theo didn't receive money. No one got more screwed over than I did.
Not even close.
Because it crosses a lot of other shows, not just one. Yeah.
And we'll tell you the numbers. So what I find out from my accountant, your accountant, we share the same accountants, was that Fighter and the Kid was owed somewhere around $476,000. Then I find out that Thick Boy Productions overall is owed, and this is the number that was floated from our accountants before they'd done a real investigation, around $1.6 million. I don't know if that doesn't seem like a lot of money to you guys, that's a lot of money. And that's not something I can just go whatever. So something's up. What is up? I'm not going to speculate on, but we knew that we were owed this money.
And the way,
I know the way it would work was typically every 3 months, we'd get a large chunk of money. And that's kind of how podcasting works.
Podcast is net 90 days.
Yeah. So you do a bunch of reads and then you get a check after 90 days. And that was always the way it was until probably months went by when we were getting what we call our minimum guarantee to keep the lights on, pay our employees.
8 months without those big lump sums.
Yeah, I didn't know that exactly, but it was a long time.
That's why I have a new account.
And after a while, the accountants go, hold on. We're owed. This is really accruing. This is like a tab that's like, you owe some money here.
After 8 months.
What's going on? So at the end of the day, I called Colin, and I'm just going to tell you what the conversation was with Colin. Essentially, I started talking to him, and I stopped him, and I said, Colin, it sounds like you got in over your skis. There was a lull in advertising revenue, and you started using our money. At this point, I thought it was just us. That was for me. You started using our money to pay your payroll. And he said, that's basically what happened. So I said, and then there was talk of him selling his company to Podcast One. And I said, where is that deal? And I heard a couple of things, and I hung up the phone. I called you, and I said, we're not going to see our money, and that sale's not going to go through. It doesn't make any sense.
But-
I just stopped listening.
But I listened to Jocko and I went,
Well,
good.
Yeah, the dog. Then we got a dog with a bone.
1.6 million? Good.
And then we got a. He took extreme ownership.
1.6? Good.
Yes. So, dog with a bone said, "Oh hell no!" And what I did at that point is I went on vacation.
You did?
I had to go away for 10 days. Where did I go? I can't even remember.
To Greece and whatever?
I went to wherever it was.
I didn't get to go on vacation because I was dealing with this.
Yeah, I said, I'm going to take my wife and my kid and I'm going to go away.
And then you check in every now and then, hey, you get our money?
And I would get texts going, hey, Brian, I'm in the trenches. You enjoy this. But at the end of the day, what you guys have to realize is that Brennan spoke to, and I'll let you speak on this more, Brennan spoke to a number of agencies and the company that gave us the best deal when we were out this money was a company called Podcast One. Podcast One has been the agents of a lot of the people that we know, and they've been very happy with them.
Adam Carolla, Dr.
Carolla,
Drew.
Dr. Drew, etc. They've been in business a long time. From what I can tell, have a very good reputation. And
Prince
they gave
Harry.
us, they gave
Just
us,
kidding.
yeah, they gave us the best deal, and we went with that because I was not in a position, neither was Brennan, to say, "Oh well, we'll just write that off."
Oh, no, we were screwed.
Now, in terms of what Podcast One's deal was with Colin, we don't know. They weren't going to disclose that. But what we did have in the contract was that Colin could have nothing to do with Fighter and the Kid.
Or any of my shows.
Or
That's
any
in the
of your shows,
contract.
and that's in the contract.
Yeah, I met with everybody.
From there, from my perspective, I'm speaking for me, I started to see that this cast debacle was more systemic and that we weren't the only podcast who had taken these losses. And so now that is an ongoing thing that I will allow people like CoffeeZilla to unfold, to look at.
Who we spoke to. We spoke to CoffeeZilla on
They can
Friday.
speculate on that all they want. But let me tell you what happens
Saturday.
in situations like that, like this. If something like this happens, you better be very careful about how you speak about it on public platforms. Very careful. And you better stick to just the facts. And I've learned the hard way over the past 12
years.
years to say only what I know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
And to keep my mouth shut about everything else. But going forward, I think right now we're in a good place.
Yeah, one of the reasons I don't talk about it, it's also talking about it doesn't do too much. It might help out the maybe people that can't talk about it. I guess that was Theo's thing behind it.
That's not.
But to me, I go good. To quote Jocko, good. Now you get to work.
Yeah.
It's my issues aren't your guys' issues. I got to figure out to keep these lights on. Otherwise, there's no show.
Yes. Also,
so you call
we
me a
don't know
bulldog.
we also don't know what other people's issues are.
No.
I don't know the nitty gritty.
I don't
know anything about that.
I didn't even know how much Theo was owed. I didn't know.
Well, Theo hadn't been with the company, I guess, for about a
no,
year.
he left another one.
So all I know is that
to Theo's credit, though, he called it from day one. He wasn't a fan of Cass from day one.
okay.
You got that right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, so we got to work.
That's
and
the that's
we landed
the
on our
story.
feet. Thanks God.
That's what happened, as far as we are concerned, and I am sure more details will emerge.
CoffeeZilla is
time
going to
goes
release
on.
his. Who knows? But we spoke to CoffeeZilla, and then
If he's on the case, he's
yeah, he's a good. Steven's a great dude. And then yeah, I met with it. We've been in the business so long. I flew to Texas. I flew everywhere to meet with all these podcast advertisers, speak to them on the phone. Me and my manager Lex. Again, you think I'm a bulldog?
You also fainted from the stress.
I got a bigger. Yeah, I did.
Didn't you have?
I did.
Didn't you have a fainting
And I had
spell, or
panic
you had to
attack.
sit down?
I have a bigger bulldog in Lex McMahon behind me, so you
Wow,
got to deal
there's-
with me and Lex.